everyone, it is your girl Sunny of Media Made Magazine. I am your host today. Shout out to Sangria, of course. He's the CEO. He's back in the back handling all of the operations. That's what he do. I am actually sitting in front of me today with an incredibly gifted man. I've known this guy from the Chandler Film Festival, and he's he's super great. He's an actor. He's a community service person, and he just does a lot for the community. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys as he's running as well for City Council. Yang for City Council, Joseph Yang.
Yes. Hi, everyone. As Sunny said, my name is Joseph Yang. I'm running for Chandler City Council, and I'm happy to be here. As soon as Sunny said you got a really talented person, I'm like, oh, where? Where? Because it's all about the community for me. It's all about community service. So
yes,
I'm
so
here.
I had to when you hit me up, I had to be like, you was like, Sunny, I need an interview. I need you to get me in here. So I had to make that happen, of course. So without further ado, let everybody know, tell everybody a little bit about your upbringing, particularly being like a first Arizona native with parents from South Korea.
Absolutely. So I am a first generation American and Arizona native. And my parents, they're from Korea. And so, one of my priorities in my campaign is supporting the American dream, right? Because as a first generation American, my parents, they had a hard, I don't want to say hard life, but it was a hard journey for sure. Right. Learning to speak a new language, having to work hard. My dad was actually let go. He was fired from a few jobs because he couldn't speak English.
Really?
Yes. Wow. And so, but instead he said he came home with dictionaries and he studied harder and he worked harder. And he actually just retired from the workforce after 30 years working for the United States government as a postal service maintenance mechanic. So, and that's really why I say supporting the American dream. That's what it is to me. Is the American dream is no matter who you are, when you work hard and you hustle and you've got drive and commitment and a goal, there's nothing that you can't do. And that's.
And your English is very well.
Oh, thank you.
Very well put.
Thank you.
How long have you been in Arizona? And are your parents here? Or are they still in South Korea?
Yeah, so my parents are here. After they've moved to here from South Korea, they visit every now and then, but they've kind of been here. They moved to, I believe, my mom was in they were both in New York, and then they've moved to Arizona probably a couple years before having my sister. And so they've been here for probably about close to 24 years, and I've been here my whole life. I'm Arizona native.
Okay, so what inspired you to go into the community services? It's particularly for Chandler, like with your various roles with the Chandler Police Department, Operational Bureau, and how has that shaped you in the roles and different things like that for the community?
Absolutely. So I always say it's a little funny because one day I just decided, my mom is she's a pastor and she's the one that has always kind of instilled the community service value in me and supporting others. And so one day I just decided, hey, I'm going to go drop off an application to go volunteer one of my summers at the Chandler Public Library. And you know what? After that, it's just been a whirlwind. I started volunteering, and then I quickly became the president of the teen advisory board there. And then after a few years volunteering there, I was actually given an award from the president of the United States for my volunteer service.
I was actually going to go into that because I read your bio. Congratulations, actually, for your recognition with the presidents of the United States. And your volunteer service, that was like in 2017, correct?
Yes, 2017.
And okay, so tell us a little bit about that experience and what it meant for you.
Absolutely. So in 2017, I was awarded the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. I volunteered for the library, and it's a program called the Presidential Volunteer Service Award, PVSA. And I was awarded that through the library system. And now it's kind of like going full circle because now an organization that I run with Betty called Fortis Teen Unity, every year we recognize a teen in the community and we give them that same award, the Presidential Volunteer Service Award.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so this will be our third year doing it. We usually do it in October.
Okay.
And last year we gave it to a student in Gilbert. And then we go to the Gilbert Town Council meeting and we present the award to them along with a proclamation of Youth Service Day. And so now it's kind of like full circle. So I received that award and I now present it to other teams.
Tell us a little bit about with the youth and stuff. So do you guys go in there? Do you do like motivational speaking as well? As far as I know, you're running for city council as well too. So kind of like, do you incorporate that inside of the schools as well?
So I don't do motivational speaking, although a lot of people tell me that I should.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm all about mentorship and leadership for the future generations. Because when you really look at my journey, I've had it hasn't been always been an easy road. And actually, yesterday I was able to sit on a panel for an event called Teen Gauge, and it was an event getting youth involved in politics and civic leadership. And I was on a panel and I said this, and I kind of echo it on this interview, is what I said, look, a lot of people say, oh, you're the future of our generation, or you're the future, we need to support our next generation and we need to support the youth. But when the rubber meets the road, people aren't all about that. I mean, I've had a lot of people that say, you're our future, we need to support the next generation.
But they're not doing it or going out there trying to help inside of the community. And what are some ways that you can actually approach and let people know how they actually can get out and being able to support the youth or being able to support the community and different things like that? And not only that, too, vote,
Yeah, voting. Voting is important, right? It's something that everybody can do. It's simple. It takes literally like 20 minutes. Go to the polls, drop your vote in, and you're good to roll. But we've got a lot of programs across the community. Like Just Serve is a great program. You go on there, you can find volunteer opportunities. But I also want to say, never always try to support and encourage people, because even running for city council, I still have some people that tell me I'm too young, I can't do it, or that, it's not my time. And
age has no limit.
I agree. And, I'm like, look, I might, that's the same thing I've heard when I was younger, right? When I started my own nonprofit at the age of 16 with the help of a mentor.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Nonprofit. We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
20.
Yeah.
And you're doing all of this at 20 years old.
Yes.
And you're actually really shaping yourself because you're actually learning and you're growing. So you volunteering for the Chandler Police Department, you volunteering for the library, you volunteering for a lot of these things. You're actually learning.
I am, exactly. And so, yeah, when I started my nonprofit, a lot of people, they're like, oh, you're too young, or, oh, it's not able to. And you know what, actually, no bank would actually give me the time of day, right? Because I'm not 18.
Right.
And so I had a mentor that helped kind of get that started, took me under her wing, and, and she was awesome. And so, when I got that started, and I always tell her, I said, look, I'm usually always the youngest in the room. I have always been the youngest in the room. I will probably continue being the youngest in the room, but that's never going to deter me because, you know what, that's the American dream, right? I have a goal. I've got my mindset on that goal, and it's not over until I achieve that goal. And so, and that's always how it is.
So you currently served on the police commission, correct? With
yes.
The 501c3. How has that shaped you and shaped roles?
Well, there's two different things.
Okay.
So there's the 501c3. I'm on the executive board of a nonprofit that supports the Chandler Police Department.
Okay.
And then I also serve the residents on the police commission. It's actually I was appointed by the mayor and council to serve on the citizens panel of review for police complaints and use of force.
Nice.
We call it the police commission because that's a mouthful to say. And so I do serve on a current boards and commission. I currently serve the residents of Chandler in that capacity. So it's two separate things. One's a 501c3 and the other is a actual city boards and commission.
Well, look at you, Joseph. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to everything. So I want to get into the political view.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like talking about politics and different things like that, and with the voting and different things and the reparations going on and all of that type of stuff. What was your inspiration behind running for councilman?
Yeah, so my inspiration running for Chandler City Council was just seeing every day how the city council, not just city council, but government and politics affects our lives daily. Just being here, the government has affected us in numerous ways, starting from the roads we drive on to the safety of our communities to the water we drink, to the food we eat, right? Everything, the government and politics has some way or shape to do something with that. And especially in in our city, right? They have everything to do with the roads, public safety, the water. I'm actually proud to be endorsed by two members of the nonpartisan water board that we have in Arizona. They're the nonpartisan municipality that oversees water in our state. And so, you know, like that kind of stuff is important to me. It's making sure that our community is safe, it's well run, it's community friendly, right? That's a big part. If you can't approach your mayor and council about issues affecting you, that's a problem.
So your priorities is to address those different issues, and how is that going to help the city or help the United States as a whole, or help, you know, what you're running for as far as Chandler and as far as everyone having to get out there and vote?
Absolutely. So my priority right now is the next generation, is making sure that we are giving them opportunities. We're always looking out for them, and we're really mentoring them. You know, and I think that that's something that's really important to me. So if we look at one of the things that I want to do on council, day one, what I want to look at is, right now we have the Mayor's Youth Commission within the city of Chandler. Okay, and the Mayor's Youth Commission is just the commission of youth, of under 18ers in our community. I would like to take that Mayor's Youth Commission. I would like to give them each an application, a paper, and ask them what they're passionate about. What are you interested in? And let's say they say, oh, I'm interested in Parks and Rec. Okay, great. Well, the city has a Parks and Rec board as part of the boards and commissions. So let's go ahead and get you as a Mayor's Youth Commission member on the Parks and Rec board as a youth advisor. And as a youth advisor, you will, that board now has a youth advisor that can get youth perspective. And then the youth get to work alongside the community leaders that are on there. They get to work alongside the leadership, and they get to see how the city is run and operated at that local level. And then when they turn 18, they can either, hey, I want to be on the Parks and Rec board, and submit an application to be an official Parks and Rec board member. Or, you know what, I need to go to college. So they move and they go to college, or they, you know, wherever life takes them. But then they think back and they go, you know what, wow, Chandler was a good city. I like Chandler. I was on the Parks and Rec board. I like what I saw. You know, when we're settling down, I want to have my family in Chandler. I want to raise my family in Chandler.
I love that. So you're actually doing the work. You're actually showing these young women and men, you know, things within the community and different things like that. So
that's my priority. Yeah, that's one of my priorities.
And what will set you apart from anyone else that's running for city council? Or why would you think that you're the best candidate for the city council?
Absolutely. So actually, I have a friend on the Mesa School Board, and she's a good friend of mine. And she told me this one day. She said, if you're going to run for office, you need to believe wholeheartedly down to your core that you are the best person for this job, that nobody can do this job better than you. You are the best. And if you don't believe that, you're going to get bogged down, because running a campaign is not easy, right? It's all about, you got to raise funds, you got to have the money, you got to have the time, you got to do interviews, you just doing 50,000 things at once in a short amount of time, because our election is on July 30th. And so, you know, for me, I do believe that I am the best person for this job. I am the best, because I have served our community. I've been the president of the teen advisory board for the library. I've volunteered over 5,000 hours to the Chandler Police Department. I have worked for the city Parks and Rec division as a city employee, as well as doing some side work for the city's special events division. I work for a police department currently, and I serve the residents of Chandler on a police commission. So I bring a wealth of knowledge of the city's of the city's services and programs, as well as a diverse experience in the city. And I bring that. That's what I bring, and I bring a community of history and a history of service. So when people ask me, how do we know that you're going to be right for the community? How do you know where you're going to serve us? How do you know? Because that's what I've been doing. That's not something new for me. And even if I don't win this election, I will still serve this community. That's that's not going to change. So people, and I tell them, I said, that I'm going to serve the city because I have been serving the city. It's not anything new. I have a history of that service. And even this campaign, I will not stop serving this community in my campaign. I'm also still helping several nonprofits, and I'm helping still plan several events. Actually, we have an event that I'm planning at Mesa Community College,
Okay.
honoring fallen officers through the nonprofit AZ Leos, Law Enforcement Outreach
Nice.
and Support. So even though I'm running a campaign and I'm really, really busy,
You're
I
still
make
doing the business out there, and
exactly.
you're still
I
without
still
that. You're
make
still
time for
making
the
things
community.
happening, and you're
Exactly.
still making things happen for the community. I love that.
Exactly.
I love
Well,
what
people
you're doing.
ask me, they go, Joseph, why are you going to Mesa? Why are you doing this? Why are you going to all these places? You're running for Chandler City Council. I said, because it's not about just the Chandler City Council.
That's right.
It's about serving the community. And it doesn't matter that I'm running for Chandler City Council. I will continue to always serve our community, because that's what's important to me, is making sure that we have service in our community.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that Chandler is facing, that you think that Chandler is facing, and the roles that you'll be able to help with Chandler or within the Arizona area as well?
Absolutely. So, that's going to take me to my platform, right? My 4 top priorities, right? Number 1 is supporting our public safety. That's always a priority. I work for a police department right now. And, when you look at these things in Chandler is the 4th largest city in the state.
Right.
And our police department doesn't have some of the things that I feel that we need to be a safer community. First off is a holding facility.
Okay.
We actually have a contract with the Gilbert Police Department to have a joint holding facility.
Okay.
And I've been being on ride-alongs and talking with officers. Some of them are not a fan of having the joint facility with Gilbert. It's not that Gilbert's a bad city or anything, but we're at the mercy of Gilbert. And of course, Gilbert is going to prioritize their police department and their officers. Of course, that's their city. I would expect them to. And let's say that one of our officers, because again, we have patrol beats. So when somebody has to arrest somebody and take them down to Gilbert, they're out of service for maybe an hour or 2. That means that little area is going unpatrolled because they're having their, off taking somebody in. Now, let's say Gilbert is full because their officers have a long line. Well, then the only other place that we can go would be at a Maricopa County holding facility, and that's going to take you out of service for 3 to 4 hours because you got to get down there. Maybe there's a line. You got to do paperwork, book them, bring them back. And we're the 4th largest city in the state. And I was talking with an officer from Scottsdale PD. Scottsdale is a smaller city than us, but they have their own holding facility. And it's really nice because they drive and, they hook them and they take them down and they go, okay, hey, here you go. And then they do the paperwork. So that officer isn't sitting at the jail doing the paperwork. They do the paperwork, they take them in. And now instead of being out of service for 4 to 5 hours driving down the county, they're back in service. And that's something that I think that, I would really like to see the Chandler be independent on. That's something that, it's going to make our city safer, because instead of having to drive all the way down to county and book people, you can do it right there in the comfort of your own city and then get back in. So that's, I guess, something when I say supporting public safety, that's something that I, looking at things and constantly innovating and constantly keeping our community safe. And then my second priority is developing our workforce. Any business owner that I know that I've spoken with, they'll tell you that they're losing people from the workforce. And we're in the middle of a silver tsunami is what they're calling it. A silver tsunami. We're having a mass exodus in our workforce. And sorry if I'm throwing big words. I'm not trying to scare you.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm not trying to scare you.
Right.
But, that's what we're seeing in the workforce. We're seeing more people leave than enter. Right. And I want to look at investing. And when I tell people about my campaign, I say, let's invest in Chandler's future. Right. Investing in Chandler's future. What does that mean? That means taking some of the CTE programs, because we have great partnerships with ASU and the Chandler Gilbert Community College and other local universities. But I want to take our CTE programs, like the Leaders in Training, Mayor's Youth Commission, Police and Fire Cadet programs, and I want to innovate them. I want to make them more robust, kind of like what I want to do with the Mayor's Youth Commission. Okay. Take them, make them more robust, start harboring a strong work ethic. And then now not only are we creating a bench for our city employees, but we're also supporting our local business and our communities. And that's something that I'd love to work and look at with the Chamber of Commerce and really strengthen our workforce, our next generation of workforce development.
And speaking of the workforce too, a lot of people are struggling with like their rent, just different things. We have a lot of homelessness. Like, talk a little bit about that too, because we see a lot of that too in downtown Chandler.
Yeah, absolutely. So homelessness, I think, is a problem that no matter where you go, it's a problem.
Right.
And the city of Chandler actually does really, really well with providing resources to these individuals, because I'm all about giving people a help up. Because let's face it, no matter who you are, there has been or will be a point in your time where you're going to need somebody else's help. That's just inevitable. I actually met my mom and I through her church. We used to go feed the homeless every Saturday morning. Okay. And when we were feeding the homeless, I met this one woman, and she was, very nice lady. and she was homeless because she had a stroke. She went to the hospital, and the hospital bills were piling up. She had to sell her home to pay those bills, and then now she's homeless. And you know, for me, that's really heartbreaking, because it's not like she chose drugs, because I think there's a stigma if they choose drugs, or you know, and that could be a major part. But there are some homeless people that are just slipping through the cracks that, you know, I just fall on bad luck. Like, don't you have a day where you get stuck in traffic, you run late to work, and then you spill your coffee on your shirt, and then you walk into work and you trip over the door? You know, like there's days like that. And just think about that on steroids, and that's some people's stories. And I think that is, you know, we need to be able to provide resources and help people out. But I'm also very much, like I said, the supporting the American dream. I'm also very much about, you know, the city can help to a certain point. But then, you know, because there are some people that like being homeless. There are people that literally cannot live in a house. I remember hearing a story that an organization paid for somebody's house, and he just couldn't do it. He was never there because he couldn't do it. When he was sleeping in the house, he literally had a tent set up in the living room. And
probably that's the mentality that he probably was used to having.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of that, what are some of your campaign strategies and different things, and how can people get involved in your campaign?
Yeah, so people can get involved in a myriad of ways, right? Campaign is like I call it a shotgun business, because it's literally like, it's not a long business, it's not a long game. It's literally a shotgun. In 3 months, the election's over. So you come in, you do what damage you can, and then you hope it sticks, right? So there's a lot of ways, right? So first, you can go to my website at yang.vote. That's YANG.VOTE. And I tell everyone it's only 2 things you need to remember about this election is Yang and voting. So only 2 things you need to remember.
Yang for city council, okay?
Exactly.
That's easy.
Exactly. And then from there, you can go on my website. There's a lot of things you can do to volunteer. You can volunteer your time for my campaign. Help me make phone calls, connecting with voters. Let's go door knocking. We're gonna go knock on some doors.
Street team or
yep. We're gonna do street teams. Also, if you want to donate, right, you can donate on my website as well. That is that's something that, you know, everybody needs. All politicians need money. You know, I think that's why we get such a bad rap, because all politicians do is ask for money. But when I tell everyone, don't think about it as if you're donating to a political campaign. Don't think of it like you're donating to someone. Think of it, and I tell people, you're investing in Chandler's future. I can't stress that enough. You're not just, oh, I'm giving money to another politician. No, you're investing in Chandler's future, because, you know, my goal, and we need to continue Chandler moving forward. And that includes getting some of these younger people involved, investing in some of these CTE programs. And that actually brings me to the last bullet point, because I told you about the American dream. My last bullet point is advancing parks and fields.
Okay.
The city, I would like to see the city create a STEM center and some more parks and fields. Okay. You know, as Chandler approaches max build out, which means that we've developed all the land that is available to develop, we need to find innovative ways to put more fields. The Tumbleweed Rec Center is getting a little innovative, and they're expanding. I love to see that. I love seeing them expanding. You know, I want to see some more fields brought in there. I know people want more pickleball courts.
Yes.
I know people want more pickleball courts, expanding some of our fields in our parks. Because when I was working in Parks and Rec, I had a lot of parents tell me that the one thing that they can never find is enough fields and parks. Because the fields and parks we do have are always being utilized. If you go to Snedeker Rec Center on Snedeker Park on a Saturday, it's always full. And that's like one of the major parks we have in Chandler. And it's always full. You go to Tumbleweed Rec Center, always full.
And I would like to see more events in the park, as far as like Family and Friends Day, or, you know, even networking and different things like that. Bringing stuff out in the community at the parks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that, being able to have it like that. So.
Right. And Chandler does do well at that. We do well at bringing community events out there. And, you know, like for me, STEM Center, right? If you think about a major STEM center, the biggest place that you can go is Phoenix or Scottsdale or Tempe. And I'm talking like walk around, do some cool science projects where, you know, you put your finger on the thing and there's like electricity that goes up to your finger, you know, or, you know, that thing with the bowling balls where you drop one and, you know, like stuff like that. Cool, creative, educational. And I think that creating something like that the city has, or maybe even partnering with businesses to create something like that would be very beneficial, not just to, and I'm talking multi-generational, not just for kids, right? Because then during school hours, kids and students can come and do field trips there. They can walk around, have fun. Oh, look at that. I can, draw my name in sand and it disappears, cool things like that. Or, for the teens and the young adults, right? Hey, let's go on a date night. Where's a good idea? Oh, let's go to the STEM center. Let's go do something cool, right? Maybe we can all grab this metal pole and then you grab my hand and electricity will go through us. That's really cool. Or, for the adults too, right? Adults can go through and maybe learn something new. I think that's beneficial. And I think that's a super beneficial thing that the city could do, or not just the city, but businesses can do something like a STEM center. That way you don't need to go all the way out to Scottsdale or all the way out to Phoenix. Or to Glendale to see some of these innovation centers, to see some, like the Phoenix Children's Museum is really cool, right? To see some of that stuff. We can bring families to Chandler, and then while they're there, right? Oh snap! We just spent all morning at the Science Center. Let's go get food.
More events coming to Chandler and different things like that. Like we had they had a car show a few months ago.
Downtown
Chandler. I was doing media for that.
Oh, nice.
And the guy was just basically like, he was like, we were in Tucson and we were in Glendale. And he was like, we just decided we wanted to do something for Chandler too, because things be so far out to be able to go to other different events. So with that being said, and you running for city council and different things like that, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience as far as anything else?
It's just about investing in Chandler's future. You can go to my website at yang.vote. And, I want to hear from all Chandler residents. And you know what? I tell everyone, I said, even though you don't live in Chandler, if you're watching this and you don't live in Chandler, I know you know somebody that lives in Chandler.
I live in Chandler.
You live in Chandler. Right. So I know somebody that lives in Chandler.
I just want to say I am in support of you because I see what you're doing out in the community. We've met at the Chandler Film Festival. So
yes,
both
we did.
of us was doing, media and different things there, red carpet stuff. So I love what you're doing, and I'm in support of what you're doing, and congratulations to all of you.
Well, thank you so much. And call your friends, call your family. Everyone knows someone that lives in Chandler. I'm going to put that on a shirt. Everyone knows someone that lives in Chandler. Like Sangria, do you live in Chandler?
Yeah.
He does too. Look at that. So we all live in Chandler. This is the Chandler corner here. And I like that.
Chandler reminds you of a mini Scottsdale a little bit.
Kind of,
a little bit in a little way. But Yang for City Chandler, guys. Is there anybody before we leave that you want to give a shout out to for your support and different things of that sort, who has stood by you through this campaign?
Absolutely. So I need to give a huge shout out to Betty Ramirez. You know her. She's the president.
Betty, so sweet.
She's the vice president of the Chandler International Film Festival. She's been a really good friend, and she's been a really good mentor as well. To me, and and she stuck by me, right? Usually, and a lot of people will tell you when you run for office, you find out who your true friends are.
Oh yeah.
And so she's been a huge supporter. She's been a good friend. And just all the people of Chandler. Every day when I call people and I go door knocking, I hear more and more that people are ready for the next generation. People want to invest in Chandler's future. People want to see young blood. They want that. And a lot of these college students that this next generation, they're telling me, they're like, we never see any of our local leaders that look, not that they look like us, but we never see anyone that we can relate to. And I think that that's really important because these college students, they've got a lot they're going through and they're like, there's nobody that can relate to us, right? Because a lot of our local, not just on city council, but all levels of government, right? They all own multiple houses. They all have, are retired, have pensions. And so it's like, how can you relate to a Gen Z college student that's struggling to pay rent, struggling to live? Exactly. Like, how can you relate, and so that's why I think a lot of college students are in support of me as well, because they're happy to see more people that understand what they're going through, and also my family, like in the studio. I know you can't see her, but my aunt is here with me, and my aunt drove me here, and my parents have been supportive. So they're always being supportive, and so just my family and on all the community leaders, really.
We appreciate you so much, Joseph. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for your involvement in the community. I want to say that. Again, let people know too where they can follow you at your social media platforms. Make sure you spell that out and the date for them to go vote as well. Again.
Yes, absolutely. So this is where a lot of people get confused. So my election is on July 30th. It's the primary election.
Okay.
It's not the general election like the school board members.
Okay.
So to vote in my election, you have to vote on July 30th, the primary. And if you're not a registered Republican or Democrat and you're an independent, you have to request a Republican or Democrat ballot, or you can request a city-only ballot that has just my race on it if you want to just vote for me. That works too. I'm not going to complain there. And then all my social medias, you can find me at Yang4Chandler. That's YANGFOR Chandler. And you can also do yangforchandler.com. My main website is yang.vote, but if you do yangforchandler.com, it'll take you to the same place. It'll all go to the, to the interweb. And so, you do that, Yang for Chandler and yang.vote, and you can find me that way. DM me, text me, contact me through my website. I'm always happy to talk to residents of Chandler about what they're going through and what they're seeing in our city.
Well, much blessings to you and success.
Well, thank you, Sonia. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
and thank you, Sangria, back in the background, making it happen.
Well, guys, you heard it first right here with Media Made Magazine. Bye.